Hey, welcome to the Backyard Professor Responds videos. This particular response is to a gentleman who calls his site Apologetics Roadshow. I increasingly find him absolutely fascinating. I'm trying to get all sides of the picture, just like everyone else of us are. Having lost my faith in Mormon apologetics and Mormonism, I turned to atheism for a few years. Then I realized, well, what they did good for us was cause us to check our religious assumptions, our scriptural assumptions. Are we reading ourselves too much into the scriptures? Are we warping and twisting history, etc.? And then I realized that even if the atheists simply refuted every God out there who has ever been imagined to have existed, it still does not prove there is no God. And so I put myself more on a seeker path, but I don't know. But I'm open to learning, and I'm hoping something more to it than this life exists. I think deep down there's not a human on the planet who doesn't hope that. Regardless of whether they admit it or not is irrelevant. Life is a very precious thing. Apologetics Roadshow brings up a very interesting idea that the main prediction of the new atheists has proven fundamentally false. I think this is intriguing. Let's take a look.
The new atheism has become a laughingstock, and I mean that literally. People are literally laughing at the motherlode of dumb ideas, the new atheism. If you don't know what the new atheism is, it's atheism with a severe attitude problem, a very poor grasp of human nature, and what I can only call communal narcissistic personality disorder. Atheists 30 or 40 years ago usually didn't care much about what other people believed. But when the new atheists came along after 9/11, people like Richard Dawkins and Christopher Hitchens and Sam Harris convinced a generation of young atheists that religion is about to destroy the world unless atheists put an end to it by spending every waking moment on social media typing, "Sky Daddy, Sky Daddy, Sky Daddy, Sky Daddy."
Now, I have to laugh because I too have seen this. We all have. And it's a point that's worth mocking. But this idea that the new atheist has an attitude problem is very, very much in evidence, even though I really enjoy watching some of their programs and listening to what they say. There was nothing better than a good hitch slap from Christopher Hitchens. He had exquisitely stunning points to show so many religious fundamentalists that they're just blithering idiots. Richard Dawkins did the same. Unfortunately, when you get a blithering idiot calling blithering idiots, you end up with a clown show. Let me show you what this guy means.
Hey, Daddy. But the new atheism came with a powerful and testable prediction. The prediction was this: if we can just get millions of people to abandon Christianity in the West, Western society will become more rational, more scientific, more enlightened. So, to test this prediction, millions of people left Christianity. Did society become more rational, more scientific, more enlightened? No, the Western world went completely insane.
Very interesting approach to this. And I do believe Dawkins actually did promote that prediction over and over and over again. Let's see how this plays out when much bigger fish in the frying pan than myself or this good gentleman at Apologetics Roadshow are, he shows an interview, clips of an interview, of which I also selectively take fewer clips than he had, of an interview that Jordan Peterson made with Elon Musk, and how they ended up simply laughing at Richard Dawkins and his ideas. This is fascinating.
Interview with on again, off again, richest man in the world, Elon Musk, Jordan Peterson presented his hypothesis about what happens when a predominantly Christian society starts to abandon Christian monotheism. Spoiler alert, he doesn't think that abandoning Christian monotheism is going to make society more rational, more scientific, more enlightened.
And he really doesn't. And it's a fascinating gesture toward a testing of the scientific end of the apparatus called New Atheism, which I am grateful that it has occurred because, quite frankly, it did get me to explore a lot of my own assumptions concerning the scriptures, concerning history, concerning sacred history, and also science. In some respects, there were very, very good gifts the New Atheists presented to us, and we should take advantage of those. On the other hand, they've really pooped in their own britches. Let's take a look.
Monotheism provides a unity of moral purpose. There's a standard of good and bad, right and wrong. There's something to aim towards. There's the sacrificial love of Jesus as an ideal. There's a transcendent reference point. The New Atheists come along and say, hey, get rid of that nonsense. Okay, then what happens? Let me guess. Scientific utopia.
And he's got a point. I have complained before in many, many of my videos that not just the religion I belonged to was dumbing me down and withholding information from me and not encouraging me to use my brain, but I have complained in the last decade that our very American culture is making us stupider. It's dumbing us down. I mean, when the most popular among many other entertainment shows is The Bachelorette, we're being dumbed down. I'm not trying to be uppity up and parochial here. The television programming, as well as, have you noticed, the news doesn't hardly tell us anything anymore about what's really happening in the world. And there's not a lot of us wanting to go to libraries anymore either. This is actually a very sobering point that I think Jordan Peterson brings out in an interesting way, as does this gentleman at the Roadshow.
I'm sorry. When people turn away from the pursuit of God, what makes you think the pursuit of God will be replaced by the pursuit of science? That could be true for some people living in the ivoriest of ivory towers, Oxford. But here on planet reality, when people turn away from the pursuit of God, the pursuit of God is replaced by the pursuit of power or pleasure. So it's like...
Unfortunately, that's what I've been complaining about. So it's interesting that I'm not the only one seeing this. We are being distracted with so many toys that we're just really not learning anything anymore. We've lost our long-term vision and sight for instant gratification and pleasure, and we're beginning to pay for it in really spooky ways in our country. Let's keep watching.
If there's no ultimate unity that's future and community oriented, that's predicated on sacrifice, you get a dissolution immediately into the next two contenders for domination. And one is, it's about me, buddy, and get the hell out of the way. And aligned with that is, not only is it about me, it's about me, what would you say, subjugated to my most base whims. Because why would I want power except to do exactly what the hell I want whenever I want to?
Peter.
Yes, that's fascinating. The interesting idea here is something Hugh Nibley said decades and decades and decades ago that just has never left my head. And only because I'm now seeing the Mormon church leadership itself get this disease and they don't even know they have it. That is the subtle nature of this. The Book of Mormon's main worry is, and it says this over 500 times in the Book of Mormon, that the people will begin to seek power and gain. And it does lead to their downfall. Let's keep watching.
Why would I want power except to do exactly what the hell I want whenever I want to?
Peterson put this forward as a hypothesis. If you abandon God, God will be replaced by power or by pleasure. The hypothesis of the new atheists was that if you abandon God, God will be replaced by science or reason. Look around you and tell me which hypothesis has massive confirmation and which hypothesis has massive disconfirmation. Are people striving for more careful and accurate reasoning about the world they live in? Or are they striving for more power and control over others and more unrestrained satisfaction of their desires? And the new atheists think Christians are the ones with a delusion?
Ouch.
And so part of the problem with the idea of people like Dawkins, so Dawkins and the atheists...
I've had many conversations with Dawkins over the years.
You have, eh?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we're going to do a podcast together,
okay,
which I'm very looking forward to.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that too. Imagine spending decades of your life blasting away at Christianity, only to wake up one day and finally realize that you played a crucial role in destroying your own culture and your own country. But on the bright side, if people didn't dedicate their entire lives to attacking Christianity, they might not have anything to regret when they see their civilization come crashing to the ground.
This is taking an interesting turn that really comes home to roost here.
But I'm very curious about this issue because his idea, and it's kind of an Enlightenment idea, is that we dispensed with the idiot superstition of the past, then everyone would become, Baconian rationalists. And that seemed, yeah.
Unfortunately not.
Why did Elon Musk laugh?
We dispensed with the idiot superstition of the past, then everyone would become, Baconian rationalists. And that seemed, yeah.
How does Elon Musk, who doesn't really believe in Christianity, instantly recognize the ridiculousness, the idiocy, the insanity of the new atheist position? I'm not sure. I don't know if he's always had a greater understanding of human nature than the new atheists, who have none, or if he just gets it now because he's seen what's happened over the past 2 decades. Either way, one of the core beliefs of the new atheists is now something for people to laugh at because it's embarrassingly stupid.
And here he's got a very good point. The scientific prediction that Dawkins insisted was going to happen has not even entered the building yet. Our society is only interested in entertainment and power. And we have degenerated, or we have been dumbed down, I would say, to the point to where rather than being able to use our brains and use our critical thinking, it has gotten to the point to where all someone in power has to do is say something and then follow it up with, believe me. And tens of millions of people do believe that person, no matter how goddamn stupid they say things and how utterly ridiculously false those sayings are. Tens of millions of people believe them.
Because it's embarrassingly stupid. On a side note, Peterson says that Dawkins thought that when people abandoned religion, they would become Baconian rationalists. I wouldn't consider Francis Bacon a rationalist, at least not in the philosophical sense of rationalist versus empiricist. Bacon is sometimes called the father of empiricism. He's one of the pioneers of the scientific method. I think Peterson might be using the term rationalist in a broader sense, but I'm not sure Dawkins would want people to become Baconian rationalists. Bacon, after all, is the one who said, I dare affirm in knowledge of nature that a little natural philosophy is what they called science back then, I dare affirm in knowledge of nature that a little natural philosophy and the first entrance into it doth dispose the opinion to atheism. But on the other side, much natural philosophy and wading deep into it will bring about men's minds to religion. Wherefore atheism every way seems to be combined with folly and ignorance, seeing nothing can be more justly allotted to the saying of fools than this, there is no God. That Bacon is sizzling.
Now, that's remarkably interesting because this is supposed to be the father of our scientific rationalism. But has Dawkins ever understood this stance from Francis Bacon? I don't know if I've ever heard him use that quote or not. One last idea I want to present.
What Peterson means. Dawkins thought, and possibly still thinks, that if people drop their silly superstitions, they'll become more scientifically minded. And to that, we all say,
That seemed, yeah.
Unfortunately not.
somebody buy that laughing man a Cybertruck.
I think this point is really important. Dawkins' main core idea was that religious people are just stupidly in the dark, and we scientific, quote, brights are the saviors of mankind with science. Well, they've had, 20, 25 years now. Has society gotten more rational and more better? We are dumber now than ever before, and we've actually been convinced that it's not even necessary to think through what we're told is either true or false, but to just simply believe. And that's what I fight against. So do I believe the new atheists when they say giving up religion will lead us to scientific enlightenment? Hasn't happened. We've got 25 years of proof that they're clueless, just like so many religious people are as well. And that's something for us to consider and ponder deeply.